Jaylon, what does having faith mean to you?
To me, faith is pretty much everything. I think it's really a key component of, everything I go throughout my life. Having faith in, you know, my sports, my academics, as well as just day-to-day life. You just automatically, one with God, but just using the word faith and faith in my guys on the team and faith that I'm gonna do what I'm gonna do in the classroom and everything's gonna pay off. I really think that's huge.
All right. What is the source of your talent,
The source?
encouragement, or your drive?
I think the source of my talent definitely comes from God. I mean, ultimately, I think the reason why I do the things that I do is just to not be, the regular statistic of, oh yeah, he could have been. My thing is what I'm going to be. So it's always that drive in the back of my head, like, man, I gotta make it. Not saying that if I don't make it in football, I'm not gonna make it out of my hometown, but this is a sport that I'm good at. And so me having the opportunity to do the things that I do, have younger guys around me look up to me and stuff, I really think that's unique and cool because, the same people I idolize, for the ones that idolize me, I wanna be, what I did, not what I could have been. So that's a big push for me. Dad, if there's one thing that you would want me to remember about your faith, what would it be?
Commitment.
Commitment.
Understanding that in this walk of faith, you're not going to be perfect. But along this way, if you veer off, that your faith is strong enough that it can be like a magnet to pull you back in. Wow. You have to be able to look in your mirror and say, I love you.
Committed.
And when you can do that and love yourself, because see, you cannot understand love if you don't love yourself. And I want you to love you. Love you. And then you can learn how to love others.
Jaylon, what did your faith community look like to you?
I think the big thing for me, it has been going to the blend. Free Life on Wednesdays. I think I wouldn't say before I wouldn't talk about God to my friends because that's not true. But I feel like being in that environment and then you're there in church talking about God to, people from different schools, people that you go to school with, you praising, and y'all are all there together. And so definitely think the blend has helped me shape a community as far as when I do leave, I still can feel comfortable spreading the gospel of, and in my opinion, I do it in a different way. How I carry myself, how I go about, I'm probably not as vocal. I continue to get better on that, but I can feel like if somebody looking at me in my idea, I feel like they should, how I walk, how I talk, and what I do, and who I surround myself with, and be like, hey, okay, I know he's a Christ follower. And that's what I want to continue to do.
How do you plan to continue your growth spiritually on the collegiate level and keep your faith strong?
Yeah, so we had, I'm fortunate enough, I got to meet Pastor Davis.
Pastor Davis.
Yeah, so Pastor Davis is a big activist over in Salt Lake City. He actually marched with Dr. King, and he's in Salt Lake, was a professor there, and we get to talk. He talked to me and my dad, and I think he's going to be a big help. I know he's a team chaplain, and he prays before games, so ultimately I think he'll be a big help. But I think being in Salt Lake, I'm gonna have to do a lot of in-depth stuff on my own, going to the Bible, getting there, and actually, read for myself, because can't continue to just, it's good, to continue to listen to pastors and them telling, speaking the word, but I feel like if I get into it as well, then I can have more dialogue and say, okay, I understand what they're saying. Because now, I understand, but for me to actually get in depth, especially being away, I think that'd be a big help into getting deeper in my faith.
Now, we'll be here too for you too.
Okay.
Always.
Yeah. I know you don't tear up on this one because I know you'll go on and on and on. So just keep it short, sweet. Mom, when is a recent moment you experienced my faith in a real, tangible way?
Wow. Well, there's a long list. Such a long list.
But they said recent.
Recent. Mm-hmm. I have watched you in football as well as church. Just the things that you do, the conversations that we have. I always try you. Like when we talk about service on Sundays when we're going home or we're eating dinner, and I always will ask you about service. What did you get out of it? And one day, Coach McDonald called.
McDonald, running back coach, Utah. Anyways, shout out.
Shout out. He called and he asked you what it was about. And Stanley and I was sitting there listening to you, and to hear you, I mean, when I tell you verbatim, word for word, what Pastor Scott said, and you got it, that was such a wow moment to me because I realized how your faith has grown.
I'm not gonna do this.
As you're aging and you're really understanding the importance of a relationship with God. That does my heart so good because I have asked you sometimes when we've been riding from different 707 games and just things that I've said, Jaylon, do you feel that I'm setting an example for you to be God-led, to be spiritual? I'm not perfect, but do you see me set an example for you that you can follow that will lead you into some beautiful times? Because I trust God with all my heart. And I know that you know. And to see you growing into that young man, it just it gives me so much joy because you are my ministry. And I really think that has been one of my biggest desires and my prayers is that I can live my life, that you will see me in that way because he is great and he's seen fit to bring us through some trying times. Sorry for the tears, but it's all in the...
Couldn't take.
That's what she get for going to the bottom of the stack.
That wasn't at the bottom. That was on the top. That was the right one.